there, folks. It's 4:41 p.m. Monday, December 24th, 2018. December 24th, known as Christmas Eve. I like to think of it as Clausen Day Eve. 4:42. 4:41 for me, numerology, right to left. It's number 1, meaning the self or the whole group, and then 44 is the double elders number of fortitude. .442 is 244. 2 is understanding, compassion, coming together. And then 44 again is the double elders number for fortitude, meaning very strong fortitude. So anyway, I've talked about this in a similar manner. In my first YouTube channel, which is, completely gone, other than what people were smart enough to download. And like I've said recently, I had actually 2 sets of backups, and they're shot. They're gone. So this is something that's important, especially to understand the stuff I've been telling you, and the reason why it's coming out now at this late a time in my life is that you understand a very simple thing: how you were controlled by the other side to do the things that once you did, and they pulled their control energy away from you, and all of a sudden you're like, what the hell did I do that for? Well, you didn't. You were literally run like a puppet, and then they're the ones that actually did it, but the physical action was done by you. That's gone from most everyone now. Soon it will be gone from everyone. Excuse me. And what I'm talking about is controlling you to do something stupid. You'll be given help for stuff. I was just turned to look at the at the tablet, and it had 444 on it, which is the triple elders number of fortitude, which means to keep going. Be strong. It's 4 is strength, fortitude. Let's see, I need to get this anyway. I need to get an image out. Dan and I have made and copyrighted a bunch of pictures, but there's a couple of them I've used for explaining things to you, and everyone's talking stuff today, doing the best they can to understand what's going on. And they'll take whatever little they know or feel, and then from there they expound on it. They expand on it, trying to come up with something, a reason for something. Excuse me. Isn't that a normal process for all of us? We do the best we can to understand what we can. Uh, sometimes, excuse me, that process gets a little lost. Where it really becomes a little, maybe too creative, too inventive, I should say. Anyway, all we can do is speculate, take whatever we have and do the best we can to draw the conclusions that might become, at that point, vaguely available to whatever current thought process we have. And here I'm talking about angels in this video. The original first being male and female, anytime they wanted to, they could go right inside, go into you, right into the crown. They can go through the frequency filter, but they can go around it, whatever they want to. But they go into the crown, upper crown, through the middle crown, through the lower crown, and go right into your hypothalamus and control you. Just like a steering wheel on a little RC thing. If they have wheels or anything anymore, I don't know. If you hear some growling, it's just my stomach is just this. There's a demon that I have is pretty crazy. Anyway, this last doctor I went to, she poked my stomach in a couple of places, and your hand just goes in and you hear the water move inside my body. She's like, holy crap. Her energy was really cool. She had a lot of red and green in there. And she was high vibration. Anyway, back to the topic. So what they do, angels were made by the original first being male and female from very high vibration, high frequency, high frequencies, high energy, high vibration frequencies. Should have put this one up front. You see over here where this gets so high, this is like a number, this is like the amount of wavelengths in a certain, time frame expressed in the size on a chart. As you go up, the higher the frequency, it would be the higher the number. Well, they're extremely high frequency, okay? They're strong, but if they relax their energy, because it's high vibration, it's hard to feel, and they just go right through you. You never know. When I first had to deal with angels, they were a problem. I was being messed with, and I didn't see anyone actually inside my brain trying to push buttons. Anytime the original first being male and female did that, I could see them. But something yet still was controlling me. Well, they will go right, like I said, through the crowns into the hypothalamus and run you, just like a puppet, like a little RC car or something. So, to say you were at their mercy doesn't even cover it. Now, the angels, like I said, they're made of very high vibration. Okay, that has benefits, a lot of benefits. The lower frequencies, whether it's a lower wave and it's longer, that's actually stronger than the high frequencies. It's a hard, long pulse width. There's machines which put out pulse widths like that have been put on ocean floors right above, in places where there's subterranean caverns and stuff, tectonic plates, and it actually breaks up it'll shake, rattle, and break up the ground. Anyway, so the angels were made in the very beginning, just pretty much in the very beginning, and they were made to control spirit when it went in a body. Exactly how I told you. Also move things around you. Now, the original first being male and female, they were the boss. They were the boss of everything, and they made sure you remembered that you served them, period. Okay? You didn't have chains on you, but you served and you did what you were told, or bigger angels would come beat you up, period. How can Jay say that about angels? I've been dealing with them and fighting with them since the beginning. So they were being made when I came out. They're like robots. The original first angels and the ones shortly after that, the ones that came from all the angels that came from the original first being, except for Archangel Michael and what is called Lucifer. That was never a devil. That's insane. I'll tell you about the devil thing here in just a second. They're still alive. The other big ones, they're gone. There's a handful of archangels that are left. A handful of angels that are left. Most of them archangels. None of them are the popular ones you've heard about. They actually became arrogant. And when the original first being male and female were killed, deleted, then they got missions of their own. They had their own, thoughts of glory and control, and anyway, they're dead. All of them. This Raphael Gabriel, he made a body once to talk with me, shake my hand, but it was like spitting in my face. He wanted to meet me, and he was really, excuse the expression if it bothers you, but cocky about it. Excuse me. He's not around anymore. My Ceramist. A la carte. Nothing in it. The angels did what they were told when they were told to do it. When you went into a body, you had anywhere from 1 to 5 angels put on you. Some people actually had about 7. It all depended on how important your life was to what, in relativity to what the original first being, male and female, what people call God, in relative to something that was important to them. The devil, there never was a devil. The God, there never was a God. There was original first being, male and female. The original first being, after it divided itself into 2 different parts to have company because it was alone. They made themselves your God, but when there was a devil that was causing problems, staying behind the scenes, controlling everything, making issues, it was just them doing negative things. They were only themselves. They didn't care about you. They didn't care about you in the least. You came from them. It's like going like this and knocking callus off your skin. That's what you were to them, the callus. You didn't matter except to function in a way that made them pleased, satisfied. In their thought process, you existed for one reason. Everything did, to serve them. So there's your God and there's your devil. Now the angels were the servants. Angels, you could have a thought process of an angel as being, like they say in the churches and religions, these beautiful, fluffy, soft white feather, but yet powerful agents of God that, would do all these wonderful things. Their high vibration put on you to control events in your life and, when necessary, to control you. Whether it's to smacking the person, your life mate, physically hitting them, whether it's taking a Q-tip and sticking it in your ear, whether it's driving your car off a cliff or into a tree, baking a pie and then leaving it in there too long, knowing for a minute it needed just a little more, then you pull it out and it's burnt to a crisp. Those are the more relative things that would happen in many ways. You couldn't remember how, if you couldn't remember how you could have left the gas stove on when it caused the fire, and then it caused the fire in the kitchen or burnt the house down and some of your family died. That was more than 9 out of 10 times. That's literally them causing it, running you to do something, and then just you forget about it. At the same time, if it was, you still need to stay in that body. If you went to a party, you were drinking too much, you get home, you might not even remember how you got home. You just got home. That's them literally driving you home by going inside your body, using your body to drive your body home with you in it. I don't remember a thing. Now, if you might drink a little bit and get a DUI or something, that might be them, might be you, but there's times when it's them. When someone is attacked by a quote-unquote demon, it was just one of the angels hanging over that person causing the issue. Excuse me, bubbles, I guess, from the soda. So, they did, whatever they wanted to. As long as it was following the path that you were supposed to be on. If something came up when it was time in your life for something to happen, they already knew about it. Remember, all of us out of body were incredibly intelligent. They didn't need to be told. The original first being male and female did not have to tell all the angels that were hanging on all the people exactly what to do when. They already had the life plan in front of them. They had an understanding of what to do. Special circumstances, the original first being male and female, male or female, they get involved. Remember the alpha male, which was the original male, original first being male. He was the alpha male when he existed, so he was the field. He was more than that, but he was the field everywhere. And what it's talking about with the angels, that's where they can go through the frequency filter or go inside it, doesn't matter. It's all energy. You can imagine smoke moving around. Well, imagine something that is less than a thousandth of the density of smoke. It moves very freely. So anyway, they go inside the upper crown, go through the lower crown, go through the middle crown, then through the lower crown, then into the hypothalamus, and then they control you. If they want you to be scared, see you as a demon, see them as want you to see them as a demon, they'll show you, make up a nasty image and put it right in your head. If it's time to save you, because you have a longer life you're supposed to have, then they will literally bend time, do all kinds of things. to take care of you. They can make you, they can take your energy and put a field around you that's subdimensional, and there you are. A car could actually go through you. But if something like that was going on, they'd knock you out. You wouldn't know what happened. They go in the hypothalamus and just shut your body down, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're back up again. Sometimes you've been made to do horrible things, sometimes just small things. Now, some people might say, Jay's just looking for an excuse, a reason for why he's not responsible for something. No, I'm not. I've had this stuff happen to me. I've been locked up. When I say locked up, I don't mean jail. I mean I've had my body locked up to where I couldn't move going down the steps. I just brought that up recently in the mind control video. Folks, this is how you've been controlled. Everyone's looking for the government and stuff. You've been kept from seeing anything metaphysical. You've been kept from seeing you've been made to see as little as possible metaphysically. So that's why the angels are literally put on you before you go into a body. You meet them, you go in the body. So you know they're going to be on you, controlling you. After the original first being male and female were killed, destroyed, I literally said that if you just will not attack me, just leave me alone, then those of you that'll do that, I'm going to help you. I'm going to make you stronger, and you have a place where you need to go. I'll put you there, and no one can get to you. Y'all can just relax until this insanity's over. That protects them from the other angels that might get aggressive towards them. All of these angels, they were made by the original first being, male and female, to serve them. And then when I killed the original first being, male and female, they went crazy. Some of them were mad, nuts, but they were all mad, except for a few that really wanted to take over, and they were happy. And then there were others that, not many, but there were others that realized things were wrong. Those have been saved. They've been cranked up. And there's others that die every day that release some new ones, and they're dealt with as soon as they come out. So they come out of the body, they find themselves somewhere else. And that's a lot, because how many people die a day? And the original first being, male and female, weren't completely destroyed until May of 2013. So this is 2018. What's that? Children 6 years and older. Anybody that's 6 years or older has angels on them, mostly aren't aware of what's happened. Things aren't the way they need to be yet, but there are things in place that are happening, making things better before anybody can understand it. But that's why it's been so important to me this last life, and the very last life, to help you all wake up, to find yourselves, to realize who you are and what you can do, to understand your true self, your origin, your abilities. So you start using them. And the more you do this, the more attractive you are to the ETs as far as contact. Wow. Okay. So anyway, angels are not these things we've been told about through religions. Of course, the religion I'm most familiar with is one I was put in at a young age on this planet. I had to deal with that stuff for a couple, 3, 4 years. I don't know, 4, 5 years. But that information helped me understand it. Excuse me. So angels were energy, okay? Excuse me. When they started attacking me, I found out how they were doing it, and the first thing I realized immediately is, holy mackerel, I never knew the thing was on me. I didn't feel it. I didn't understand it. It didn't register with me. I said, how can anything sneak by me like that? They were made to be like that. I've said before, the barrier between the dimensional barrier between the second and third dimension is too strong. Excuse me, again. It's too strong, it's too coarse, thick, hard to see through. So that'll be changed soon. The field is already helping people wake up. It's important you see the stuff for yourself. That's where your personal knowledge comes from. Excuse me, that's where your understanding comes from, all the knowledge that you've personally gathered and, attempt to consume, see what works. What fits, good, keep it. What doesn't fit, set it aside. It's always there. I've said many times that a little better than 2/3 of the time you go to remember something having happened, you astral project back to it, but your brain does have its own collective library. You just can't remember all the stuff in it. All the stuff that's ever happened to you just in this life, let alone others. That's why you need to enhance your metaphysical abilities. But it starts with knowing who you are, and the more you read in my books, the more you start to realize, Jay's not the easiest person to follow when I read his books. It's a little bit difficult, but it's like the editor said for my first 2 books and the 3rd book, we had to do that ourselves. We paid someone else a few grand, and they screwed it up, just totally changed everything in it. And I'm like, for what it gets to a point, it costs more in lawyers than it does to deal with it, so you just forget about it. Now, if it was an issue that's more personal, a personal attack, a copyright or something, I don't care. It's $100 grand, doesn't matter. Of course, I'll be out of here soon anyway, and I haven't had any personal attacks like that except from my family, and that's all dealt with until I get home, and then I'll finish dealing with it. So anyway, something else about angels. If you've ever seen the movie Jumpers, how they would move from one place to another, angels did exactly that, but there's no little loosening of image and this black smoke looking stuff. No, it's just they're gone, they're gone, they're gone. There are folks that were essential, that were in bodies. No angel has ever been in a body having a physical life. They've made their own bodies to walk with us from time to time, give message, but they've never had a life. And some of these folks, very few of them are there that can do this, and they're not, no one, none of the folks that are essential beings in a physical body, of course, here on the planet can actually like transport themselves from space down here. There was a gentleman that could do it that was on a ship. That I was with a friend, and then we're again at a Starbucks. Angels loved Starbucks. It's kind of nutty. Anyway, I'm not cutting down Starbucks. It's just not my. I'd rather have a better cup of coffee here. Anything anyone does, they should receive credit for, though. You know, they have some decent coffee and some nice people working some of the places and stuff. But the Angels love to go there. Anyway, and they could move more than themselves. I've literally said no. I've never done. Ever since I started waking up and became strong. Started becoming strong, the pot and everything, I had pretty much let go of pot. It's maybe once a year or something, when with a couple of friends or something, years and years and years and years ago, that was done. It would leave a cloudiness in my head that I didn't feel good about. And then when I started waking up about 10, 20, 40, whatever years later, I could see why. When I go into people's heads, I can see if they have drugs in their body that are regular medicinal drugs, if they're street drugs, okay, coke and something, whatever. I can see if they smoke weed. I see the energy that's left behind. I see what's, I never said anything. I usually don't even tell the person. Unless I know it's important to them, then I'll tell them. Other than that, I don't ever mention it to anybody. That's stupid. That's not how creation's going to be changing here. It's barely started, but it's about to come down hard soon. Just let me get out of here. People are going to understand they can do more. They're going to do more. They're going to be free. They're going to keep people away from them, from doing stupid stuff. I can't tell you how many people have gotten DUIs because they were made to drink that last drink. Angels making them literally be quote-unquote alcoholic. A lot of bodies are made, they cannot handle alcohol. In North America here, the Indian race has got that issue with their DNA. They were made like that. Anyway, so angels themselves, okay, they can literally not just make themselves. I've been driving down the road going to it around Charlotte, North Carolina from Georgia, and I'd put on small events and stuff there, just myself, and then while I'm on the road, for instance, this kind of the most exciting thing that happened to me there. I'm driving down the road and I'm going by a way station. I said, how about that? That thing's abandoned as hell. I'm driving. I looked at it. Driving, I've always been great driving. Okay. Racing fast, sideways, but enjoyed it. It was my feeling of freedom. I've built incredibly strong, powerful engines that would just hum like a sewing machine. I custom built racing engines. I did all kinds of stuff. So I've enjoyed having a nice vehicle and just get in the car and go. It's as close as I can feel to freedom while I'm in a body. I haven't driven for a long time. I gave up my license and canceled insurance, registration, etc., etc. I haven't been able to drive for a long time. But anyway, I enjoyed the freedom. So I'm going down the highway. I see the way station, and I said, and it's all straight road. There's like next to no one on the road anywhere. So I'm cruising down the road. I look at the way station. I said, damn. I said, I guess whatever. It's just closed. And then I keep going. And then all of a sudden, poof, right here. Just poof. And I turn around and look, and here's a guy that's in the truck. The truck had those little things in it. The thing behind it is kind of weird. But anyway, all of a sudden, I look. I saw, felt, heard the truck. All of a sudden was there. So I look. My peripheral vision is excellent. It's incredible. So, and I can see out of my head. So, I'm literally I'm driving fine right on the road, maintaining the speed. But the second it happened, I looked and the guy's staring right at me. Now he was just starting to go down the on ramp, getting ready to leave in the way station to go on there. He was not there, 10 seconds ago. When I looked at it and then looked away, then all of a sudden, poof. And there he is going down the on-ramp. He wasn't looking at the on-ramp. He's looking at me. And he kept looking at me, looking at me, looking at me. He wasn't driving the on-ramp. And I wasn't hauling butt. I was just like, son of a bitch. And I looked at him. I felt who he was. And I said, you asshole. So I wanted to just keep staring at him, but after it was long enough, I could still feel I'm driving fine. I just quickly looked to the left to, make sure, reconnect with the road, make sure I'm still in my lane. There's no cars nearby or anything. And then turned around and looked, and boom, gone. I've had him do that to me before. I've had friends with me when they pop in. They pop in, say hi, they walk and turn around, walk through a bush and gone through the middle of a bush. Walk into it again. It was at a Starbucks. I've said this one a few times. I was with a friend and just walked out of the Starbucks to open the door. It was chilly. It was definitely cold, and a young lady looking somewhat Asian. Just the second I got out the door, she got up and she walked by me, and she looked at me, and she was actually scared, which really hurt my feelings. She said, Father, you don't understand yet. You're sick, but you'll know soon. And just kept walking, and she turned right, and walked right into the wall of the Starbucks, the brick wall, the outside wall. Walked right into it, gone. And the person I was with, he was already very awake and aware. So he watched it all happen. He goes, first group of angels? I said, yeah. Another lady that was there was just kind of like, what? That's stuff like that's happened a lot. And what she was saying is that the fight was really heavy with the original first being male and female. And I wish this damn heart would finally just quit. Anyway, the fight was still heavy with the original first being male and female. And nobody could understand why I wouldn't stop and just take a beating and just keep getting beat like I did every other life. And just about. I'd rebel here and there, but unless I made my own body, like the Adamic race, making the red atom and stuff like that, when I did that, I was me. I made my own body. Nothing could attach to it. I had abilities that were just insane. So, anyway, so that's what she said. But she was actually scared, and that made me feel like about this big. All I ever asked is any of them, just anybody that was coming up said, just leave me alone. Quit. When they go in your head hard, it literally feels like a drill going through your head. Angels usually go through the middle. They can get in and manipulate you, but it's other powerful source will literally try and get in your brain to transmutate your brain a little bit, and it feels like a drill bit being drilled in your head. That's why the video that's going to be put up soon. Right now, it's mind control is being rendered, and it's relative to this. Oh, wait a minute. No, yeah, it's dimensions. The video on dimensions is being rendered, and mind control would be next. Anyway, I've mentioned some of this stuff, but it's important for you to know. You know, people say, how come I don't know about this and that from previous lives? How do you know that? And the only reason they trust anything I said about a previous life is because I told them what's going on in their life now. I don't mean you're happy about something nice and then a couple of days ago you were scared. I tell them about crap that's going on with them, members of their family. So anyway, that's some of the stuff angels can do now. Primary Lily, primary Arae got together. When the original first being, male and female, were releasing the third wave of souls. There's 5 waves of souls that they create, that they release in themselves and made. The 5th wave, very few of them have ever had lives. When that 3rd wave was 80% released, primary Lily and Arae, we got together, put our energy together, and released our energy. It was one good release, but first it was Source Angel, then Source Animal, and then what was left as actual Source. The Source Angels were 55 to 65. They were Source, but they contained 55 to 65% angel energy. The animals, the Source animals, they were Source, but they contained 55 to 60% animal essence frequencies. There's never been animal soul, just animal essence frequencies. And then the other 3rd wave was whatever they were. Whatever the rest and whatever came out. Excuse me. So anyway, those angels are different. But people, you're not having angels. No one's got angels on them anymore. Okay, they're not around here. There are some off planet running around a little bit, but not many. There's only a few. And when they come out, they're not an issue. But people don't, except for a very, very, very few. None here on this, like I said, none here on this planet, but in the rest of creation, this 3rd dimension. There are only just a couple of people that have angels on them. And they're not going to be put on people anymore. When they're ready, as long as there's no problem, if they want, they can, come together and release, or just by themselves, release 30% of their energy to create more of themselves. Now, angels are, so what I'm trying to say is those that wouldn't attack, those that said, yeah, because I told them, it's time for you to be free, because you are. It's time for you to have your own lives or not have lives, but it's time for you to be independent individuals. No more of the slavery crap. You're no longer servants. You do whatever you want, but, for now, don't be going up to people, working on their, trying to act like an angel in their lives. Stay away from other people. And don't get aggressive towards anyone else. Just stay together and they have their own place. these new angels. I've worked with them before. One time I had a dog that was dying and did all I could and made the mistake of trusting a vet for something, and that kept him alive a little too long. He just happened to be a dog of mine. His name was Dre. That's the name my sister gave him. He was awesome. He was really cool. He was strong. You could look at his energy. He was strong as hell. Dre and Dee were brothers. They were Labrador, Black Lab, and Pit mixes. Wonderful guys. They came here to this house with Herky. Those of you that remember Herky, here's Herky. So I hope you can see him. I think you can. So those new angels, they've been doing stuff like taking classes and everything else. And then, they'll stay in the body about 5 hours, 7 hours, and then get out, then do that a few times a week, whatever, and then they kind of leave the class, go away, and then they're done for a while. They're taking turns, not having a life. They have a schedule where they're taking some time to not have a life, but be involved in life-like situations so that they can understand a little more about it. But people aren't going to have angels anymore. Animal essence cranked up very strong already. They were powerful already, but cranked up really strong with source. They'll be running around doing stuff for you. There'll be creation sentinels, but they're also going to be spirit guides. The ones that are to be spirit guides with you are going to be, almost all of them are actually going to be spirit guides. That's it. But there's a huge amount of them that are actually sentinels. Are already starting to do it. So it's not that all angels, almost all the original first angels are dead. And it's not a ton of other angels, but the new ones and etc. Source angels. But it's time for them not to be involved in people's lives. If someone's going to be your guide, it needs to understand having lives. And nothing understands having lives and being in a body more than an animal essence. Nothing except whatever source. Lily and I, we've been around longer, but it's still they understand. So they'll do the best job, and they're also made of compassion and they're also made of compassion and fortitude. They have honor, great honor. No animal essence has ever lied to me, not one of them. The original angels, when they wanted two people to be together, they go up to the base of the they'd be behind you. They put a focused energy where at the base of your spine, where it attaches to the pelvic bone. They put the energy in there and just crank up your endorphins going up maybe up about 10 vertebrae at the most. And depending on how strong an effect they wanted, but 4 to 7 was normal. 7, if they went up 7 vertebrae, hit them hard, and letting endorphins, that had an effect. But 10 of them, that would be done. A man and a woman, they're supposed to be together. The angels do that, and they look at each other, quote unquote, love at first sight. And that's because your DNA, your body's DNAs need to be put together to produce the proper DNA, or it can be manipulated by source to create the right body for someone to have a life in. Whether it needed to be incredibly intelligent because that one spirit had too many bad lives back to back and needed a break, or maybe deformed. It was all about abusing, putting pressure on, but through abuse, to spirit that was in body. I've had a lot of instances I could talk to you about with angels, but there's, that takes a lot of time, and you have other things to do, but I wanted to tell you some of the basics about angels. When it was time for you to stay alive, they keep you alive. They'd move you interdimensionally. They can move you through a little bit of time. They can do all kinds of stuff. If it was time for you to break your arm, or lose a leg, or your house burn, and you were the one that some didn't even remember, but somehow until it was over, then all of a sudden you remembered that you had left the gas on when you went turn on the stove and it was clicking and never turned on, and you walked away for some reason. And then what happens? You feel guilty the rest of your life if you have any heart. So what does that do? It gives you a really stressful life. What happens while you're in that body having a stressful life, and all that regret and abuse and all that other torture, mental torture, then you grow bigger while you're in there, and then the body dies, you come out, and then you go, instead of going poof, you go poof. And that's the whole idea, the whole reason they did that. It was the laws and commands of the original first being male and female. You're God and you're devil. And angels were the servants. They were the loving, wonderful angels, and they were demons. It's a name's given for them depending on what they did. So a lot of people hear this when they've not heard me before, as time goes by. And they'll say, this guy's a nut. How can he can't see that? And I said, my answer to that, go look at the quantitative electroencephalogram. How the hell did I go into someone's brain and change the brain? So, see, the thing is, I've had so many consultations with so many people. There's an outstanding amount of people that know that I am real. No better than nothing. No better than that slug crawling across a wet board early in the morning. Or that little ant running around like a nut. I simply am. We're all equal. We can do things better than each other, but no one's any better than anyone else. Okay, let's try to close this down. Told you about angels, so where they came from, the very beginning, from the original first being male and female. The fact that they were put on you to control you, and you met them before you went in body. And angels are both male and female. They never separate. It's the only being that's made that's never separated into male and female. It's always both. So I know there's some stuff I've left out, but that's the best I can do. But animal essence is taking their place for what they did to supposedly help you, but they never did. People say, oh, this is important. People say they talk to angels, and the angel says this, and I'll talk to Archangel Gabriel. First off, they're all dead except for, dead or gone, except for Archangel Michael's flying around. Oh, like angel energy would be like a huge orb with many different of one type of frequency, and over time, one would come out to do this, another piece would be broken off to go over there, another piece broken off over there, and then they come together. But that's how, like Archangel Michael has been in so many places at one time, because he and Lucifer were the protectors. They were protectors, period. Because of that, they developed a sense of honor, compassion, and equality. Compassion, big time. So they never had a life, but by protecting the lives of others, they were involved in them. They grew, they learned. All right. There's more stuff I didn't mention. It's in the books. Book 1, the Creation series. Book 1, 2, 3, volume 1, 2, 3, whatever. They're on Amazon.com. There should be pictures of all of them on the website, thespiritualfoundation.com. There's one other thing I just wanted to say. I can't remember. Well, about angels talking to you, they never talked to you. They had no desire to talk to you, and they had the same thought process. Almost all of them had the same thought process towards you as the original first being, male and female, did. They released parts of themselves from themselves, and you were part of those people, part of that process of releasing pieces of themselves. So you had to, in their mind, you had to obey anyway. That they weren't going to bother talking to you. Archangel Michael, okay, he could leave kind of a feeling, but he had stuff to do. He was really busy. He understood. Okay, but he had other stuff to do, and then Lucifer, he never really talked too much. One of the things, the first most important thing Lucifer did was the one they call Lucifer, is a bad name, but it's been shamed, is what I should say. He kept the pure negative original first being dark source, negative, aggressive, low frequency source away from you. He protected you in the beginning from something that would literally destroy you. And then he went ahead and broke off pieces of himself, and everywhere in every galaxy where there is or solar system where you had planets and stars, a star with planets in there that had life on them, that had beings having lives on them. When you were high vibration, he makes sure you go to the other side of to your place that's designated inside the second dimension, or the other side. That's for those of you that are higher vibration. Those of you that are lower vibration, you would literally put. He made sure personally, that part of them, that you went to your little place of the lower frequency folks. In this solar system. Earth, the planet Earth itself, that's where in the second dimension, that's where we stay, those of us of a higher vibration, of higher frequencies. Those of lower frequencies go to this, it's still in the second dimension. There's no hell down there. All that's a bunch of bullcrap. They go to the area of Miranda, the first moon off of Uranus, and that's where they stay. If you look at the moon itself, it's aggressive. Looks like it appears to be two different moons that collided and parts stuck together. Whatever the thing is, whatever happened to it, the tallest cliffs that there are on any physical landmass we can find, a jagged edge, so to speak, that's there. The place is extremely dismal. But when someone was made lower frequency, that was done to them. They were removed, and lower frequencies were taken out. Over 97% of them. So that was negative stuff. That was extremely low frequency. And then little beings came to be, that energy started falling apart into smaller beings, smaller orbs of original source energy, and then they'd split. So that was done. They were created like that. It wasn't their fault. So anyway, when an angel makes a body, they'll talk to you. But when they don't, when they're their normal selves, forget it. They're not going to talk to you. That's one of your spirit guides. Animal spirit guides talk all the time. English, Espanol, Francais, whatever. Latin. They'll communicate with these languages here. Sometimes it's strong enough for you to hear as if it's a spoken voice. So, anyway, I just want to put that in there. Well, folks, look, love you, man. Take care. That's the truth of angels. It's not what we've always been told. That's because religions and everything else, that's just all lies. And you don't want to be necessarily be annoyed at your parents and friends or anything. I mean, that was all done by the original first being, male and female. And they weren't destroyed until May of 2013. So I doubt I'm talking to many 5-year-olds. Anyway, folks, love you. Take care and have a good one.